Grace and peace be with you. Hi, my name is Mark. I'm the pastor at Sycamore Creek in Potterville. I have a brief thought for you today, and again, it's from the book of Proverbs. We're continuing with Proverbs chapter 5. We started yesterday with looking at this section of Proverbs chapter 5, which is warnings against adultery. And yesterday, we talked about warnings against an immoral person and the sort of temptation to take the low road in our lives. Instead, wisdom helps us to achieve the high road. And today, instead of avoiding the immoral person, we're going to focus on verses 15 through 23, where it talks about how do we focus on what we already have. And rather than looking at temptation, look in a positive direction. And I'll tell you, this passage is great advice for marriage. It's great advice for the commitment and for the devotion that marriage requires. And this advice is pretty radical. It was countercultural back then when it was written, and it remains countercultural today because what we do is we always look for the next best thing. We look for happiness, we look for fulfillment, we look for meaning from our spouse, and then ultimately our spouse will never satisfy that fully. And so what do? We think, oh, well, maybe we could better find it somewhere else. And so we look somewhere else. And that brings us back to what we talked about yesterday, but what the writer of Proverbs is focusing on today is to focus on what you already have, to build into it, to work on it, to develop and to grow your marriage into the best possible marriage that you can have. Essentially, what Proverbs is encouraging us to do is to be disciplined in the pursuit of our spouse. Disciplined. Again and again, wisdom and righteousness are the product of discipline. And in this case, if you want to have a great marriage, it's going to require discipline. The disciplined pursuit and love of your spouse. May we live that out and have life to the full. Grace and peace be with you.